Hello everybody, Evan Scoresby here from EmpowerScores.com, working out of my home office today here in Springville, Utah, and I wanted to talk to you a little bit today about the concept of in money we trust or in God we trust. I know this is a controversial topic, and I want to just discuss a little bit because I was on this morning mindset call, and the host, who happens to be my friend and business partner, Paul, he actually shared a little story about his son that he had the other day. He took him into the kitchen and he got out some ice cream and some sherbet. So two forms of ice cream. And he asked his son, which one do you want? Do you want this vanilla ice cream or do you want this orange sherbet? And his son looked at him, looked at the two options, and he says, Dad, I want both. And so Paul gave him both. So there's a good story in that, where it's okay to have both. It's okay to believe and trust in God, and it's okay to have money. Now, we can go into all different sorts of topics and discussions about, how people think money is evil and blah, blah, blah. And I'm not going to go there, okay? I'm just going to talk about why I think that it's okay for you to believe in God, to have a strong testimony, to be His servant, and to also have a desire to get rich, to be more wealthy, to have money. And I didn't always used to think this way. I grew up in a culture that actually kind of fostered that belief where you had to, choose one or the other. And I used to think that the reason I wasn't wealthy was because God didn't bless me with wealth, and that wasn't part of my plan. But over the last couple of years, that has kind of changed. I have realized and I've come to know that it's actually quite the opposite. In order to have a fulfilling life and to experience everything that God has created on this world, is to make the use of things. And in order to make the use of things, we have to have money to use them, right? That's just the society that we live in. If we didn't have that medium, we wouldn't have to worry about it. But we live in a society that depends on money to survive and to make the use of things. So for example, if you want to develop culturally, if you want to experience culture, the best way to do that is to travel to different parts of the world and experience the culture firsthand. But you can't really travel across the world or if you don't have money to do that, right? And so it all kind of ties in together with this. And so I wanted to share with you also of why I think that it's, one of like a higher purpose that God has for each of us. I firmly believe now that God wants everybody to be wealthy. I do. I believe that God wants you, person watching this video right now, to be rich, to have money. And that might not sit well with you because of your, deep down rooted beliefs, But I firmly believe that, and let me explain why. Okay, so for example, you have somebody working a regular 9 to 5 job, working 40 plus hours a week, and they're barely getting by. They have a mortgage, they have bills to pay, they have credit cards, they have car payments, school, dentist, kids, whatever, and they're just barely scraping by. And they think that's all to life, and they don't have time to do anything else. They don't have time to give their time for service or to help others in need like they fully could. That's how I have felt. There's been times where, I've been at church and they've asked for volunteers to be at this meat processing plant, for example, to help process meat, and it's at times during the day where I'm working and I can't go and I can't serve and work at the same time. But imagine if you didn't have to work. if you didn't have to go to a job, and if you had the money that you needed to live and survive, and you didn't have to worry about that, how much more time would you have in your day to be able to serve others and to have the money needed to help others who can't help themselves? Think about that. If you could imagine, let's just say 90% of the population having all the money they ever could need, and they didn't have to worry about money, and how much good could be done in the world with that, and how much service could be done to help others. That is my intention. And that's kind of where the difference lies, where you can have both money and God in your life. Now, I do know, I also believe that the sun rises on the good and the bad. I know a lot of people who are very wealthy who don't believe in God. They absolutely do not believe in God, right? And I know some people who believe in God with all their heart, might, mind, and soul, but are some of the poorest people on the planet, right? And this is something I can't explain. Well, I actually can. A lot of it is in a matter of their thinking. And what has changed my philosophy a lot on this concept actually has come from this book. I don't know if you can see it here. It's called The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Wattles. This has actually changed a lot of my philosophy about God, about money, and that it's okay for me to want and desire to be rich, and also to believe and trust in God as well. One of the last paragraphs in the first chapter of the book, it says, "It is perfectly right that you should desire to be rich. If you are a normal man or woman, you cannot help doing so. It is perfectly right that you should give your best attention to the science of getting rich, for it is the noblest and most necessary of all studies. If you neglect this study, you are derelict in your duty to yourself, to God, and humanity, for you can render to God and humanity no greater service than to make the most of yourself." So I challenge you to read this book. It'll open your eyes and change your whole perspective on God and money. Okay? And so that's kind of my where I'm coming from. I choose to have both. I'm not going to choose just to, be in the service of God or have money. I'm going to do both because I know that as I acquire wealth and acquire riches into my life, I'm going to actually use it for good. I'm going to help others, and I'm going to live life, have the freedom to live fully and fully develop myself. And so I want you to experience that as well. And so go ahead, if you want to see what I'm doing to give me the freedom that is allowing me to do the things I want, when I want, where I want, go ahead and click the link below this video and watch the sales video on the next page. That's all you have to do. So with that being said, remember, you have the choice to make it a great day.